Yasmin, welcome to the GROUPEX Podcast. It's so good to see you.
Hi, Tony. Thanks so much for having me. Really grateful for this opportunity to speak with you today.
No, look, I'm grateful that you've said yes, so I just want to get straight into this and go, hey, tell us about you. I want to know about Yasmin. How did you start in the fitness industry? Where does your journey begin?
Well, I'm going to have to rewind a few years to go right back to the start. But the first real, experience I had was in 2003 when I was working at Hamilton Island. I think I was my third year in at uni. I was studying human movement and majoring in exercise science. I went away to Hamo with my friend and I worked at the sports club there, and they were doing a initial module training for body balance, and they asked if I wanted to jump in. And
so
good old me.
Were you living on Hamilton Island?
Yeah,
The
well,
resort?
I actually went. Yeah, I went. I went there 3 times. I went for a little holiday, and then I came after my second year break. Went back into Hamilton Island and stayed. I think it was for 3 months, and then I ended up staying there for 2 years.
Wow, I could think of worse places in life to be.
Yeah, I remember living there, and I got this phone call from my dad. I think I'd been there for about 2 years, and he said to me, darling, it's time for you to use that degree and maybe think about coming off the island and stop teaching water aerobics and body balance and get into your career.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. But I love the fact that your career started on an island, on a holiday resort here in Australia. Well done.
Thank you. What a place to kick it off.
Better than good old Fitness First in North Sydney, let me tell you. Wow. So, and Body Balance was the first program?
Yes, Body Balance released 24.
And was that training done on the island, or was that back here on the mainland?
No, they flew someone over and to train. I think there was about 5 or 6 of us. They did Body Balance and I think it was Body Combat. And I just put my hand up for Body Balance because I was a bit of a yogi and I thought that sounds fantastic. And they ran a dual module and it was awesome. Great.
My goodness. So I'm going to say that blows me away because it's just, you don't hear that story that often. Yeah, you know what? I was working on a resort. That's where it begins, Tone.
Yeah,
I think it's almost everyone's dream, isn't it, to work on a resort or an island somewhere. And when we're younger, obviously not this day and age, but when we're in our early 20s, would have been fantastic.
It was such a great place to experience work and have an island lifestyle. I remember I was lucky enough to have this cool pink buggy as well, so I could cruise around the island on a pink buggy and
excellent.
Yeah, the best.
So the type of member, and my brain's just gone completely crazy here, the type of member that you would have gotten there, are there a lot of residents on the island, or was it mainly holiday people that you were teaching
there was definitely a number of permanent residents that lived there, that people that ran the general store, had small businesses, but there was also a huge capacity of tourists that would come and use the facility. But I think our core membership was definitely residents of the island,
wow,
which was great. Yeah.
Cool. So what happened after Hamilton? So did you take Dad's advice and come back to the mainland? Or what did you do?
I did. He ended up getting me a job, actually. And I worked in a mining site, Telfer Gold Mine, in the middle of WA.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the hottest places.
That's a bit of a contrast from group exercise to mining is wow. But good on you though for taking Dad's advice. And hey, Dad, thanks if you're listening. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll make him. Yeah, it was definitely polarizing coming from a beautiful tropical island to a desert mining site. But there was a few similarities in the sense of the compound living, that you worked in small places where you worked within the community. And I was lucky enough to do exercise testing and run the healthy lifestyle program over there. So we facilitated a gym, and we just basically we ran little group classes and did stretching, pre-start stretches, and just it was a wellness hub. So even though the location was so different, it was a really similar concept that we had a community that lived there, and it was a centre that was, we were trying to reach people to choose health rather than the pub or,
That's brilliant. I mean, I'll be honest and say I've never really thought of mine sites as having exercise style facilities, but they need to, don't they? I mean, I think it's great that they do, because you can't be mining all day and then just sit back and, as you said, go to the pub and, have your counter meal and a couple of twoies. You've got to actually enjoy life and try and have as much normality as anybody. Wow.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a huge industry, the mining industry and fitness. That they have tennis courts, they run programs where they take people off campus or off site, to different places, like whether it be lawn bowls or something, just to ensure, mental health and well-being.
When did you start at the mine sites?
I reckon it would have been 2004, perhaps, or 2005. No, 2005, I think. Yeah.
So that that just sounds really naive for me, but at the same time, I like hearing it. The fact, as you said, that there's stuff going on in mine sites that looks after fitness, but I didn't realise that it had been going for that many years. That's fantastic. That we're actually, as an industry, still looking after, one of the biggest industries in the world as well, mining, especially in WA. I mean, WA for mining is massive as it is. Good on you. Good on you.
Thank you.
I really enjoy hearing those stories. So where to next? Where after mining? Where did your fitness journey take you?
So from mining, I always knew that because you could do a 2 week, like you'd work for 2 weeks and you'd have like 1 week off. So using that FIFO roster, I knew that I wanted to travel. I think I was like 21, and in the mining industry, I was lucky enough to be making some money. And I thought, no, I'm going to travel. And then I sort of put it on pause because I ended up really, falling in love with my job, getting really consistent in that, and thought, oh, maybe this is for me. But I was lucky enough to meet my now husband, Daniel, while I was in WA. And he and I was working in the mines when I met him, and he had always planned to play rugby semi-professional, and he got called up to play for Yorkshire, and I supported him in that. So I was like, yeah, you should do it. And he said, why don't you come with me? And I was like, oh my goodness, we've only been dating for 3 months, but yes,
sure.
Of course, here I come.
Excellent. You knew it was meant to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So Dan moved first to Yorkshire, and he moved to play rugby. And I remember quitting my job and then following him over there about 6 months. We actually, it was probably about 3 months after, actually. And I remember moving over there to a little house with rugby guys called the Rat Pack. And I was like, oh, what have I got myself into here? Yeah. It was a house with all international rugby players and little old me and Dan.
Yep.
But I was so lucky because I ended up working. Well, I was lucky enough to work with Dan in the rugby. I wasn't a physio, but because I was an exercise scientist, I worked with the team and then travelled with them as well.
Cool.
And they made me They made me feel like part of the team, which was so nice.
Awesome.
So we went over there. I was in the UK 2006. We started in Yorkshire, did a year there, and then we moved over to London and continued on.
Yep. So were you, when you guys moved to London, were you teaching GROUPEX still at this stage, or?
So in Yorkshire, no, I was just doing fitness, doing the stuff with Dan. We were basically doing our own training. And then when I moved to London, so I actually worked for a computer company. God, that was boring.
Wow.
Yeah, really tricky, really tricky. I ended up participating. I went to the gym, but it was really hard because it was dark all the time, and it was so different from what I've ever known that I ended up, putting on a little bit of weight and really getting into Hollyoaks and drinking red wine. And I just
Yes.
knew perhaps this life is not for me.
Yep.
And but then, so then we moved to London, then continued to play rugby over there. And I was lucky enough to work at a place called Goldman Sachs, where I worked in the fitness industry. There was a place I worked primarily in St. Paul's, but also in Bank Street, where they're all stockbrokers. So at the bottom of the facility, there's a full kit gym where we do all of the programs. There's personal trainers.
Wow.
There's it's amazing. It was an amazing place. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work in such an incredible facility. So I was there working, I managed the gym, and I then delved even further into my fitness teaching career.
Explain. Tell us some more.
Oh, okay. So once I started there, I was sort of manning the gym to start with. And then there was this gorgeous lady, Claire, and she was doing the group fitness, and I told her, look, I've done body balance on and off for a couple of years. Done freestyle classes, the old school, tummy, hips and thighs and all that sort of stuff, freestyle aerobics. And she goes, cool, let's get you upskilled and trained in body pump. And I was like, oh gosh, this sounds amazing, because I've been participating in it for a while. So 2006, I did my body pump training with Matt Thraxton.
Oh, wow.
Which was, really cool. He was such a killer trainer, man. Such a vibe, that dude. He's so such an inspirational coach and just person in general. So I was lucky enough to do that in 2006. And then I also asked to be upskilled again in body balance, just to get back into it, because I felt like it was, just a refresher.
Yep.
And so I started teaching, I reskilled in body balance. And so I started teaching pump and body balance at their multiple facilities. So Bank Street, St. Paul's, and a few other key places there, as well as doing some exercise testing.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, and it probably is going to come across as a silly question, but hey, this is Tony. No. And Tony asks all the silly questions. When you were teaching in London and you were teaching for those gyms, the clientele, what was the clientele? Was it the average normal person you're teaching to these days, or was it a different type of person that you're interacting with?
No, these were stockbrokers. They were very professional.
Yep.
And it was, oh my God, it was such an amazing facility. So obviously it was the bee's knees of the facilities. It was right in the heart of London. And the facility was so incredible because there was a gym down the bottom with a wellness centre, a group fitness studio. There was two of them, obviously a huge gym, personal trainers, and then fitness testing, exercise testing. And then within that facility, they had a laundromat, they had a restaurant, they had beds, and they had places, because they never slept. Yeah, it was the most incredible facility. A little old Yaz sort of thinking, oh my gosh, here we go, this is business time. And there was suits and ties, and it was very professional. But they were such great people. They like to have fun, and they they like to go hard. Yep. It was actually a really key learning for me, because when I did start working for Goldman Sachs, I realized that these people are investing their precious time to come to a class. I need to be organized, prepared, and give them what they need, because they don't have much time. Some of them weren't even leaving the facility for days, because they were watching the stocks, and they had everything they needed there. And,
why would you leave?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I like the contrast from Hamilton to the mining to Goldman Sachs, and you're in the industry, but that's three completely different aspects of our industry and people that you're actually interacting with.
Yes. Oh, totally. And I think if you like humans, you can get along with any of them.
Yeah. I like that one. That should almost be the title for this episode. If you like humans, I really like that.
Great.
This is the GROUPEX Podcast.
You've had an interesting journey in fitness, and it's not even, that's not probably halfway through. Not even halfway through. That was back in 2006, 2007. With that.
Yeah, that's why I was so grateful to actually be asked to do this podcast with you, Tony, because it's really interesting how you can just be in the throes of life and you don't actually stop and reflect to think, oh my gosh, where did it start?
Yep.
Where did it eventuate? What was like the key point? And it's really lovely to kind of think about how many experiences I've had with people, and the beauty about Facebook or any social media platform these days is I'm still able to connect back in the day.
Yep.
Of 2006 when we first started teaching group fitness, or have friends that we're connected in that time and space with. So it's just wonderful. And taking myself back through memory lane, I'm 40 this year. So it's like, wow, half of my life has been in fitness.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing. Thank you for, as I said again, for coming on and sharing your stuff with us. It's fantastic. So what happened after London? How did you get back to Australia? Now, I know there's a plane involved. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. I know there was a big plane, the big silver bird. But what, career-wise, how did you end up back here in Aussie?
Yeah, I think Dan and we stayed there till 2008, and then we bought a camper van. We set it out. We changed. We basically decked it with the 1980s, little setup, and we started traveling. And then, unfortunately, I'm one of 5 children, and my youngest sister got quite ill. So I had to fly home immediately. And from then I decided, to stay home.
Yep.
And then God bless my husband. He took all of our stuff and he came back. And then we decided to settle. Now, my family is in Perth, WA, and my husband's from Sydney. So we sat in Perth for a while, but we had this decision of whether we're going to stay in WA or whether we're going to move back to Sydney. So we both thought, right, we'll stay here. I've got a few things going on with my sister. She's fine now. She's okay now.
Thank God. Good.
Yeah. And so we both came back, and then my husband's an electrician, and I went back into mining because at the time when we arrived back, there was a mining boom.
Yep.
So we went in, and I then started working for the mines again for Brockman 4, and I worked for construction. So I worked in constructing the gym and the health and lifestyle program for this mine site, which was, I think there was 1,000 people at the time.
Wow.
So back into the mining sites, I did that. And then when I would come home, I think my roster was 2 and 1. I would then facilitate and try and get any covers in any classes.
Yeah.
Because I kind of had this weird, group fitness lights me up. So I just couldn't ever leave it. Out of all my jobs, I was just one of those things that I was like, oh my gosh, it was something I had to find and keep my toe in. And I just, so I kind of did that for a wee while. And I remember working at multiple mine sites for, I think it was 2 years. My husband was working at other ones, and we both had this conversation sort of saying, you know what, money's amazing, but it's not us.
Yep.
We, let's kind of think about what to next. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should be a teacher. And my husband's like, that's a bloody great idea. And I was like, oh, okay. So I think it was 2010, I decided to say goodbye to the mines. And I was lucky enough to do a diploma in education and at UWA. And I was on my journey to becoming a PE teacher.
Wow. Mate, you've everything that you're telling me is I'm enthralled with. I'm engaged. It's you've done a lot.
Yeah. I feel like I have. And it's really interesting because I think it's always been with humans, with good people, and in movement.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my destiny. Is somehow connecting those two spaces and bringing it together. So in 2010, I moved back to Perth, settled in, and I then started working at the gym, UWA, where there was an awesome team. So I started teaching fitness classes, and because I was a poor uni student, I say after coming from the mines, having no income, I was like, holy shit, how do people do this?
2-minute noodles and water. Yep, I understand.
yeah, back to the London days. And then I started, teaching group fitness, but I got really into it. I was like, you know what? I think I could actually, because I really was passionate about it, but I thought, where can you go with this job? Where can you go with it? And I was like, I never really knew, but I knew that I wanted to kind of keep it and go with it. So I thought, let's throw yourself into it, Yaz. You've got your uni stuff happening, you've got your teaching stuff on the side, but throw yourself into group fitness. And I did. I was teaching so many classes, 10, 15 classes. I teach freestyle stuff, Les Mills stuff. Yep. And I played around with that. And I think the blend was perfect for me. It was a really good indicator that this is what I want to do. I want to maintain dual careers.
Yep. So just on that, you touched on how many programs are you trained in?
I'm only trained in Les Mills. I'm trained in body balance, body pump, grit. I also am a 350-hour yoga teacher. I teach spin and that's it, I think. I feel like there's something else I do. Anyway, it'll come.
That's right. That's 5 different genres or 5 different programs that you've actually got under your belt there at the moment.
I'd like to continue on doing more programs, but I think you've got to know when it's either doing a lot or do something really well. So I'm kind of diving into those programs even deeper. Yeah.
I know of instructors that teach 7, 8, 9 different programs, and they still teach 7, 8, 9 different programs today across a week period. And that's not just 7 or 8, 9 classes. That's different genres and different things. I don't understand. My brain just doesn't keep that much choreography, and I don't know. Those that do, my hat's off to you straight away going, you know what, tip of the hat. You're amazing. The confusion that I got is when the same music or the same song was used in a couple of different releases. My brain would just go, nah, can't do that. I can do it in this program. I can't do it in that one because my brain goes, no.
100%. I'm with you, Tony. I'm with you. And I think for me, like less is more.
Yeah. It's what do they say? It's a master of one. What's that saying? Jack of all, master of none. It's better. It's better to be the master instead of jack of all. You hone in on one and actually perfect one and actually really deliver the best you can deliver in that program for your participants as they're coming through.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So teaching school kids.
Yeah.
What age group are you doing? What age? What is it? High school? Is it preschool? Is it primary school?
So I started off in high school, and I was at the International School of Western Australia, and it was I had high school, and then they gave me this year 4 class, and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with these little kids? I have no idea. I'm meant to be a high school, PE and health teacher. Anyway, so I jumped in, and it took me a little bit, but my God, I loved it. Those kids, their little beaming faces, bringing out the parachute. I was like, my gosh, this is like magic.
Yes.
And because I think I was used to working with adults, it was really nice to jump in and think, oh my gosh, I can actually inspire people to love moving from a really young age. And I was like, it doesn't have to be throwing and catching and traditional sport. It can be so authentic and engaging through, dance, through creative play, through just seeing colors on a parachute or like coming up with imaginative play. I found my inner child and I really, really loved that. And I think I loved that I had some littles, like I was working with some, little people and also some year 12s and 11. So I had that duality and, it was quite great. It kept me busy, but I really enjoyed it.
I like hearing the fact that little kids brought your inner child out. Yeah. Soon as my daughter come along, as soon as Leah come along, I just turned into a big kid again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, because she's only one. We decided to stop at one kid, one child. I'm going to be fun dad as well. You know, I want to wrestle with her. I want to muck around with her and all that kind of stuff. But I've also got to remember that she's a princess. Yeah, she's my daddy's little princess, and I've got to, you know, she last night on the couch, she come in with a flying elbow, you know. So sometimes I've also got to go, oh, okay, yeah, no, I can be a little bit rougher here, but it brings out that inner child in me, which I appreciate for what you're saying with teaching. You know, it gives you that different perspective on what you're doing within the fitness industry and makes you realize that, you know, it's not just older adults or adults that, you know, our age or you know, up to the 20s or whatever. There can be young people, and getting young people engaged in movement and health and fitness from a young age is, I think, fantastic. It's what our industry is doing and should be doing more of.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, that was the real motivation behind it, because I felt like I was giving. I was doing a service, and I think, you know, I've done a lot of life coach work with none other than our amazing Kylie Gates, and we really unpacked what is it. Why do we do what we do, man? You know, like, why do we work these crazy hours? And you know, and through, you know, a lot of work with her, I sort of realized that I love the service industry. I love to give, and I feel really passionate, and it fills my cup up. Yeah. You know, I've always been, a teacher in so many aspects, you know, whether it's in group fitness, whether it's in health and fitness, and whether it's school teaching, you know, yoga teaching. It's a service for me, and it's really rewarding to be, or it's a bloody privilege to have that. So I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Big shout out there to Kylie Gates as well. Top bird.
Oh,
top Aussie. Yep.
She's amazing. She's amazing. I'm so grateful for her.
Yeah.
And what she's given to the community. She's an absolute freaking legend.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyles, if you're listening, g'day.
Hey, babe.
Yeah. Hey, how did the opportunity come up to be involved in Les Mills and the trainer presenter team?
Okay, so for me, nothing's ever happened fast. If we fast forward a wee while, from teaching, I ended up having my first child, and then went back to school he was about 4 months, and then I worked, kept my Les Mills, still teaching about 6 to 8 classes, and I would make sure that I would do any opportunity that came along. So any AIM 1s, AIM 2s. I remember doing the first body balance AIM 1 with KG, and then same with body pump. I did all my AIM 1s and my AIM 2s. Back in the day, initially, they if you got elite on AIM 2, then do you remember those days? Then you would have a facilitator pathway into training to, I never got elite in any AIM 2s. I did body pump AIM 2 twice, both advanced, and same as body balance, just advanced, not elite. And I sort of thought, oh, that's me. And I sort of gave up a little bit of hope. You know, I thought, I was knocking at the door, and just never feeling that I was at the right place.
Yep.
You know, I wasn't doing this right or that right. And, you know, I still had stuff to craft, you know, I still had to craft my skills. So I know after my second son, I ended up having a break from school. I took a year maternity leave, and I thought, stuff this, wouldn't it just be amazing to teach group fitness classes and be a mum? And I was like, I'm going to do it. So I just threw myself wholeheartedly into group fitness. And I was lucky enough to work at a place called The Warehouse just down the road, and loved it, taught. You know, I sort of got knocked back from AIM 2, you know, not getting that elite. It kind of felt like maybe, it's not meant for you.
Yeah.
And I thought,
what was
it's kind of hard.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the feedback you got?
Yeah. I think for me, the feedback was coaching at that time, coaching for layer 2. I think it was coaching layer 2 and performance.
Yep.
I think I was too scared to be authentic, to be honest. I think I tried to think too much like the master classes and jump into like maybe what I thought they wanted to see rather than just bringing me to the...
That's something that I hear more and more often from instructors and from trainers and presenters. It's a journey that you go through to once you find yourself, once you know who you are, it all falls into place.
Tony, I couldn't agree more. 100%.
It's
so fucking weird.
I love the realization that we have though when, like as you're saying, you were like, oh, maybe it's not for me, mate. I'm doing everything I possibly can. It's but
banging on the door.
You don't have that realization that, hang on a second, if I remove that and I just chill, I just be me, that's when it all falls together. There's so many, and I hate saying this because I know there's going to be some negative Nancy's about it, but there's so many instructors that try too hard. Stop trying too hard. Just be you. Yeah,
I was 100%.
Yeah.
And then I was pretending
that
I was being me.
Yep.
Being me.
Yeah, I love that. And I had a chat just recently with another trainer as well, and that was the same thing. He was saying to me, I just couldn't be me. And once I finally let it all go and realized that I didn't need to be that person on the masterclass, I needed to be me. It all fell into place, and it was like, oh, wow, all of a sudden opportunities come knocking because I was 100% real.
This is the GROUPEX Podcast.
100%. And I think, because I was lucky enough, you probably, when the boot, so my real footstep into the team was when they did the boot camp, when Amanda Breen sort of headed up and Jacko the boot camps in 2018. I got that invitation to apply for body pump and body balance, and I did, and I thought, oh, okay, here we go. This is the opportunity. And then I thought, Yaz, just fucking film something, don't freak out too much about it because you've been here before.
Yep.
You know what it's like. Just, and I remember my classes were just so awesome. I was like, guys, I'm going to film this because this was 2018 when we weren't filming stuff regularly. And I think I did it about, even though I said just film something, probably about 10 takes.
Yep.
And I submitted it, and I was lucky enough to get an audition to the live audition.
Yep.
So I thought there'd be so many of us there. And I got to the live audition for body pump, firstly, and there was just two, me and Christy.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in with a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we were lucky enough from there. And then again, to be selected into the boot camp. I was selected in the boot camp, the Alive 2-day boot camp, over 2 days for body balance. I did the live audition for body balance, but I was never lucky enough to make the boot camp for body balance. They selected somebody else. There's about 6 or 8 of us, but I went in there for body pump. And so then from there, Christy and I were lucky enough to get into squad.
Yep.
And from squad, I started to get the call up to present, which I think my first time to present was release 110.
Yep.
Which was really exciting. I presented that with Braden Kelly and Pete Peterson.
Yep.
But to get it from the boot camp into squad was like, whoa, so many auditions, so many filmings, so much learning, so much growth, so much development. And I really am grateful for the opportunity that brought, because I think for me, there was talk in the industry back in the day, it's not what you know, it's who you know to get in. And, I think that's that could be true, but also it could be bullshit because everybody wants to get in, and we're always looking for reasons why we can't get in. One thing I did love about this process, although it was extremely lengthy and long, I knew that they knew who I was. They saw me over time and time and time again. So when I was able to get up and present for the first time, there was no doubt about that I was well prepared and I was organized, and I had lots of experience in that space of feedback, presenting, and it was a really great way to prepare me.
I think the not the negativity, because that's not what I want to say here. The doubt, or the those instructors out there that are like, oh well, yeah, you're on the team because you're friends with such and such, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think that can probably be disappeared and will disappear if Les Mills turn around and actually show the journey properly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I don't mean that. I don't mean
way.
that in a negative way towards Les Mills or anyone from Les Mills or anyone that's listening thinking it's negative. It's not. It's more, if they're open to be able to show as an instructor, you do your initial training, you go through, you do it, you're doing your aim or whatever it's called these days. Then the process of how you go through, because as you said, it's not just I did boot camp and I was on the team. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and while I think it's. I can probably understand why Les Mills hasn't told the world what it is, because we don't really need the rest of the world copying the exact same process.
Yeah.
But I think it would be great to be able to show instructors in some way, hey guys, this is the actual pathway to becoming a trainer and presenter. If this is what you want to do, this is what you're going to go through. Not everyone's going to have an opportunity, but this is the process you have to go through in order to make it to that elite status of being a trainer and presenter on a team.
Yeah, definitely. And I think everybody who is on the team, I mean, a lot of us who are training and presenting now in WA we're from the boot camp in 2018. So we've got a nice support crew there, and we still feel fresh on the team. We still feel like we've got so much growth and development. We still aspire to some of the master trainers on the team, and we're really lucky to have people that have been presenting for a short while and a really long time, and have that blended culture.
Yeah. No, I think that's nice to hear as well. Nice to hear the journey you went through, but also that the team is diverse enough to have that on it as well.
Yeah.
It shows, to me, it shows for any instructors that are new to the industry, you know what? We're not just reading a piece of paper and going, yeah, let's go. There is skills, there's education, there's years of experience that you're actually getting every time you do training in whatever form.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
So, trainer and presenter in which program? Which is it? Just pump, or are you now?
No, so I'm a trainer and presenter in body pump, trainer and presenter in grit, and a body balance presenter.
Sweet, I like it. So the three different formats. So every quarterly workshop, you're up on stage for each of those programs.
Mostly, sometimes depends on how many instructors they'll select.
Yep.
So if there's for this quarter coming, I've been selected for grit and pump, but not for balance.
Yep.
So it just depends who they got. Because we've got people coming over for WA. So, last quarter I was up for 3. This one I was up for 2. So it depends.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends who's coming over, how it all works, how they're fitted in. Yep. So it's quite good, because I try not to attach myself to ego and think if I'm not selected for something this quarter, it's not what am I doing wrong. It's what instructor's coming over, can they bring more diversity into it? And then can we showcase other local talent or national talent in WA? So I'm really happy to be a team player and share the space, man.
Yep. Love it. So out of trainer and presenter, which do you prefer?
Oh, definitely tricky question. I was like,
Now, naturally,
I love being a trainer.
Yeah, naturally, I was going to say, if you're a teacher, the trainer side of things, you fill your cup with that. But I also get the presenter side of things. When you're up in front of your colleagues and you're up there having a whole lot of fun, and that energy is in that room, it's different to when you do training.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
so different.
You're on it, Tony. And I think, I just think that the key highlight for me is to be able to stand in front of the people that I've trained and present and do what we've spoke about, and then give them a live example of that. And that is awesome, because you get to not only train people, but you get to demonstrate a masterclass. So I think it's beautiful. You get to do both, and it's so humbling, humbling.
Yeah. Have you had an opportunity to do any filming at this stage?
No, I haven't yet. I'd love to have the opportunity if it ever arises. right now I've been lucky enough to shadow, I guess if we take it back, because I got onto the team, when I started my actual I was on the squad for pump, I actually started to be first trainer presenter was grit for me. And I've got a funny little story surrounding that I should probably tell you. But because remember COVID happened for that period.
What?
So I think, remember COVID happened.
What? What are you talking about? Who? What are you talking about? Where was I? No.
Yeah, where were we all?
Yes, exactly. Yes, I remember those times. Yes.
Yeah.
They're
so
never
I
coming
think,
back, by the way.
Yeah.
Never.
No, never. I think I was lucky enough to be able to, I guess, benefit from COVID, because if we take ourselves back, if we rewind the story a little bit, I was doing, the Les Mills was going gangbusters and there wasn't much opportunity to move into the team. There's this funny little joke, someone's either, got to retire or die to get on.
Yep.
And no one was doing that. So
no one was a retire or dying. No, they're all getting COVID.
And no, I'm glad everyone's well. And so anyway, so COVID happened, and then I sort of was like, okay, I know Les Mills kind of like, I guess we were disengaged from squad and everything was sort of shut down. And I remember saying to my husband at the time, I was like, because we were hum-hoing about our third child, and I was like, I think we were like, and I was like, it's never going to happen. I think I'm just going to throw myself back into school teaching and kind of give up. And even though I was on the squad, I just felt like I didn't have any movement. I was there for a while, and it's like, this is 15, 14 years in the industry. Whereas, if you were to compare sometimes, which comparison is the thief of joy, and I'm so glad I've learnt that.
Yep.
It was happening for people 3 years in, 4 years in, and I was like, shit, man, I'm getting old. Like, this is, Anyway, so COVID happened, and then I sort of down tools, and then I actually fell pregnant with our third kid, which was a surprise. I didn't really realize that, at Christmas time, I think I drank half a bottle of champagne or anything, and then I was like, oh my God, damn, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward, I get an email from Jess Austin back in the day saying, we're going to ramp things up. Day 3 facilitator, we're looking for a grit person. Are you in? And I was like, oh my goodness me. Yes, but I'm pregnant.
Yep.
And they're like, no worries.
It's all right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I always thought that they would never, being pregnant would be perhaps an issue. Not because you can't really perform, you know what I mean?
Yep.
However, it was an online initial module training. I ended up with Eve, which she delivered the first online training, and I was 32 weeks pregnant. Obviously, I didn't do any physical movements because she took that all on, and then they asked me to co-deliver a module with online with Jacko, and the date of the module, I think it was like the 28th. 28th or the 30th of, 29th, 30th of August. And I was like, oh, yeah, I possibly could, but that's actually the due date of my baby.
Yes, and maybe not, let's
so
be on standby.
And I'm not even lying, the due date was the same as the module. And then they said, look, obviously no pressure. And I was like, cool, yeah, okay. So lucky I had the baby late, and I ended up delivering the module with Jacko, small section, I think on day 1 and day 2, so a couple of hours with a 10-day-old baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Check me out. I can do anything. Love it.
Wow. I was like, are you sure you're okay with this? Guys like, yeah, if you feel like you can do it. And I think you've probably heard this with the multiple podcasts you've done, is in Les Mills, we jump at opportunity.
Yep.
And I think if it was my first baby, I would be rocking in the corner.
Yep.
But with my third baby, I knew that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he'll still be sleeping. So third boy.
Or you can be presenting here and have a bassinet there and just be rocking with your foot. You're sweet.
It happened. It was happening. The baby was down low on my lap.
Yep. I love it.
And so it was really cool. And that's when I ended up, I think I gave my first day 3 when Lucas, my third boy, was 8 weeks old.
Yep.
So just goes to show what you can do when you have the confidence and the craft and your skill and you have the drive to succeed. So So I did that, and then I think from then things started picking up for me, and I started to kind of get selected, and then I went on and did. I got selected from squad to trainer, and they're on and they're fourth.
Yeah.
This is the GROUPEX Podcast.
So let me ask you a question about the big quarterly workshops. So like
Yeah.
Les Mills Live and those monsters that we attend and thrive on and absolutely love, compared to the little regional one. Yeah. You got a favourite out of those two? Which do you prefer?
I think they're different. I guess it's like training and presenting. You know, I have the first time I jumped on stage for Les Mills Live Melbourne, I absolutely shitted my pants. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, not literally, but I was like, I freaked out. I was like, there's so many people. This is like, oh my gosh. But the vibe was amazing.
Yep.
It was like the impact that the presenters had on the people and the energy was something, man, if you've never done it, you have to go. It's just something that is just incredible and absolutely incredible. However, when you teach at a quarterly workshop to the people that you've trained and you see them get it, or a light bulb moment, or, you know, that is so humbling and that is so magic as well. So I think they're just different, and they're both as, I mean, how fucking amazing to get that opportunity, you know, so I just have to say, at Melbourne and Singapore, I mean, Melbourne was really special for me because I was lucky enough to shadow Body Balance and Body Pump.
Yep.
And my husband's whole family actually came over to Melbourne to support and to see what it was about, because they have really no idea what Les Mills is. And
that is awesome.
Yeah. I was, you know, it's just beautiful. So we all got a beautiful Airbnb, and I remember my husband, you know, going back from the days in our little house in London. Well, a house, I say that, you know, it was a unit.
Yep.
And we lived in the lounge room, and it had everything that you needed. And there was about 14 other people that lived in that house. And I was learning the chess track, and I had the mop.
Yep.
And he had the broom, you know. And I was like, Dan, it's a freaking 2-2.
Yeah.
1 and 2. It's not 1 and down. That's a 1 and 1, 2, you know? And he's like, oh, babe, I'm just trying, okay?
Your husband sounds like a top bloke. I need to meet him one day.
You have to. He's put up with me for long enough. But then I remember he actually came in and he watched, and I think it was Body Balance, and I was up there for the balance track, and I just remember he said, babe, I cried. Like, he just couldn't believe this little thing that we do and that I'm so passionate about, that other people are passionate about. And then to see it actually at a huge event, he just couldn't wrap his head around it. And I think that just brought so much more, not respect, but just, I can't even think of the word, to the awareness, I guess, maybe the awareness of, wow, it's not just this little thing that Yaz does every freaking day.
No,
for 20 years.
I experienced the exact same thing for the Sydney filming in 2019 with Rach, when Rach got up there with Attack and then CX, and oh my God, Joan had the moment of, I was in the back, and I'm glad it was dark. I'm very glad it was dark. I'm very glad that I had to step back behind people as well, because I had that moment of, I was so damn proud, and so just got everything that she'd ever worked for, and understand it. So, Dan, I'm hearing you, mate.
Teary. Yeah, I feel a bit teary. No, I do. I felt that. I felt that with my whole heart, because I think you would know, Rach knows, that the hours, the love, the commitment we all put in is, we never ask for it back. We never ask for it back. We always give free. Well, I always give freely, and I'm sure other people do. But then when you see it all come together, or you witness someone's hard work, energy, and it is in a moment that is life-changing, and it is inspiring. And I feel so inspired. My husband's inspired. People that participated are inspired. Like, recently when I just went to Singapore, I mean, I was lucky enough to catch up with Kylie and to catch up with, you know, the Australian team and meet our other people within the team as well, people that I haven't met from Singapore. It was from KL, Malaysia. It was so awesome to meet our whole team. But I was lucky enough when I went over to Singapore, a lady that I trained here basically came to one of my grit classes, walked away not being able to do a push-up, said she'd never want to do it again. She was in a really dark space. And then I remember she was told to come back to group fitness because they have a creche and it will be good for your mental health and to come. And so she did, and we worked together. We ended up falling pregnant together with our last baby, and had our baby 6 days apart. COVID happened, and we came back through COVID, had our babies, and then she decided to become an instructor. Wow. So she did her body pump initial module training with me, which was fantastic.
Yep.
And then we went to Singapore together.
Yep.
We shared this. We went together as friends, and we hung out the whole time. And I was just so humbled to be able to share the experience with her, because it was the first time she'd left her child. Well, it's the first time we both left our kids to go overseas, and for her first time to leave her baby at all, actually. And and then she just came back. She was like, "Holy shit, this is what it can be." And I was like, this is what it can be for anybody. Yeah. It's ours. Yep. It is absolutely ours to share. And she's so, we came back so motivated and inspired. And I know that our members here now at our club, at, Gold's Fitness Frio,
yep.
We're all going to the next one. I'm taking my members with me. They were like so excited, because they're like, we want to be a part of that, because it is group fitness. Rockstar, it's a concert kind of thing. It's just, it's a vibe, man.
Yep. It's so nice when you're able to find and connect with someone that you can share that experience with, that comes from complete different universe to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That comes in, but then gets enthralled and gets captivated by what we do. For someone that wasn't able to do push-ups and was like, "Nut, screw this, I'm not coming back," to come back.
Yeah, I know.
To do training, to be part of it, to actually share that experience and share her journey as well with the participants that she's teaching to. Mate, where else can you do that? You can't.
I know, and that's the thing. I've always trained not for aesthetics, but for mental health and well-being, because there's something about moving your body, empowering your body, like, everything is hard until it becomes easy.
Yep.
So it's about what we do and how we do it, and I think that empowerment is something that I bring into every workout and into every time, is right from those Goldman Sachs days where, I knew that these people only had 1 hour.
Yep.
And if I wasn't going to hit it, they weren't going to come, because they were high performance people. And I just knew back from those days that we need to give people that experience, that empowerment, or something it is, and for me, it was just setting people up to be their best,
Yep.
Find their best. And you can do hard things, and we can do it right here now together and smash it.
No, love that. Next question I'm going to throw at you is not so much around you and your journey, but about the industry and about giving back to instructors. So
Sure.
Let's just, hypothetical here, say that we've got an instructor that is really struggling with their classes. Attendance is poor. They just don't seem to be getting it. They're, I'd like to say, fallen out of love with their program. What advice would you give them?
To hold on. Don't give up.
Awesome first words, by the way. I really love that. I thought you were telling me to hold on for a second then. Hold on, Tone. I need to think about this for a second.
Pause.
But yeah.
No, I think, life is like that. I think sometimes things go up and things go down. I think hold on and don't give up. Sometimes the environment you're in, you may not be supported and encouraged, whether it's your time slot, whether it's, is it the class of the month, whether it's upskill, self-belief. So maybe think maybe be brave enough to investigate what's the reason,
Yep.
And then seek support. seek support from your other group fitness members instructors, because, at GFIs, we kind of, sometimes we're like ship sailing in the night sea. But seek support, and then reach out to, your GFM, reach out to your trainer presenter team, go participate in other classes, film. There's so much that surrounds that question, but I think it's not a reason to give up.
Yep.
What do you think?
Hello, someone's asking me a question. What? Someone told me the other day that they're going to interview me, and I went, no, Tony doesn't get interviewed. There's Tony talking in the third person, but no. Look, I'll be honest, I agree with you. I think that if stuff's not working, find out why stuff's not working. Yeah, break it all down and make it as simple as it possibly can. Okay, my class went from having 20 people to 18 to 16 to what? Oh, shit, now there's only 10 people in here. Why? Have a look at yourself.
You have to.
Yeah, start with you. Don't blame it. Whenever you point the finger at somebody else, yeah, there's one finger pointing away from you, but there's another three coming straight back at you. Yeah, so my way of looking at it is, okay, start here, start within. Tony, what's happened? Have you lost passion for what you're doing? Is it, have you added something else into life that's causing this to happen? What is it? Really sort of nut down and go, okay, cool. Start there. If you haven't added anything else in that's impacting what you're doing, then okay, have a look at surrounds. What's going on? Is there something else someone's doing something that may be bothering you that you don't realize it, and subconsciously you're actually taking it on board, and so something's happening, or you're watching another instructor and thinking, wow, they're amazing, I wish I could be like that. Whatever it may be, just sit back, strip the layers of the onion and work out what it is.
100%.
Then, as you said,
so you should be interviewed.
Then, as you said, seek advice, seek support, seek whatever. Go straight. My first point of call, anyway, would have been GROUPEX manager.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm struggling. What's going on? You've obviously seen it because my numbers and attendance have dropped down as well. What can we do together to work on this? Give me some advice. As if you've got an amazing GROUPEX manager that's actually a proper GROUPEX manager and not someone that just does the pays and counts attendance, then they're going to have the skills to work with you to go, okay, hey, Tone, look at this. Or better still, I'm going to come in as a GROUPEX manager and watch what you're doing. Yeah, I want to see what you're actually doing in your class. Or, Tony, I'm not going to be able to get in for a couple of weeks. Do me a favor, can you film your own class?
Yeah.
And I think
Tony,
filming your own class was one thing that I think allows you to see it from a complete different perspective. Yeah. When you're up on stage, you're in. Yeah. It's like working on and in your business. There's two things that I've always said over the last 15, 20 years of any business that I've worked with. You can work in it every day, but when you start to work on it is when you see what's going on in it. Yep. So
exactly.
go and film yourself, sit back, watch what you're actually doing. You probably pick something up yourself within the first 30 seconds and go, oh my God, what do you do? You say the same thing over and over again. What are you doing that for? Or if you don't see it, have somebody else, one of your peers, one of your mates, one of your other instructors assess it for you and sit down with you and go, hey, can you give me some feedback on this? What's not working? I think if we're open enough to accept feedback, but open enough to realize that something's not right, then you're able to fix it.
Oh my goodness me, 100%. And I think that's one thing that Les Mills, and I'm so grateful for. Jacko has been so instrumental in my career. Emma, Braden, fantastic people that have been so great at delivering intentional feedback. And I think when you get feedback and you take away making it personal and you look at it objectively, it allows so much growth. Yeah. And I think that's one thing Les Mills does so well, is that allows you to really take on the feedback and apply it, and then and to notice the shift. And I think when you're ready to do that and you're ready to do the work, then you'll see the growth. And I think if you don't film your classes, or as you said, if you don't work on it, then you'll stay the same, and you'll look for other people to, this is the reason why. Yeah. And Look, honestly, there are sometimes things out of your control.
100%.
Shit time slot.
Yep.
It's winter and you've got a 7:30 class, whatever. But I know for me, I'm constantly filming, reevaluating, seeking advice, seeking feedback. And now, obviously, I'm in a place where I'm objectively looking at myself, not like I'm myself, like as just an instructor, and what could I make this instructor do to do better?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I have to be honest, I think sometimes I feel underused in my gym. I've got 2 or 3 people that I mentor that seek advice, but I also have a lot of instructors that I wish would come to my classes or say, hey, can we team teach? And I can give them instant feedback. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 people that do it, but I sort of think I would love to be able to share with you what I know, and we can do this at a place that we both work at. But I think sometimes maybe people think it might be scary, it might be intimidating.
Yep. Totally. I think that a lot of instructors these days, I'm choosing my words carefully here because I don't want to piss people off or offend people. Self-entitled, think I'm amazing, I don't need to worry about getting any help. I teach, I rock up, I teach, I leave, that's it. You find my cover, you whatever. That type of attitude, I think is wrong. But there's a lot of instructors that are out there that are like that. That feel that, well, I know it all. I don't need. Who are you? I don't need you. I'm not gonna come and see you.
Yeah.
I think if they let that persona or that tough guy persona down and have a look at what's going on. If you're not learning, what are you doing? We're learning. I mean, I'm learning stuff every day. I've got a 7.5-year-old that teaches me stuff every single day about life. I love it because I'm still continually learning something new, whether that's life or whether it's GROUPEX stuff. It's the same to me. It's exactly the same
100%.
thing. I think if you're open enough to accept feedback, don't give feedback on the feedback as well. If you're opened up to actually say hey to someone, I need some feedback. Can you give me some advice on this?
Yeah.
Listen. Don't respond. Just take it on board. Someone said it to me in one of the episodes. It's like the Christmas present that you get that, if you don't really want it, you can exchange it. But it doesn't mean that you give it straight back to the person. Take it all on board. Go, this is brilliant. By the way, did you give me the receipt? Because I need to get rid of that bit. You pick and choose what you want. Yeah, you take on the good bits, and if you're not ready to accept everything, then don't. But don't respond and give feedback to the feedback because it's not necessary at all. Just you've asked for some help. You've asked for some feedback. The feedback is what that person has seen when you've taught. Yeah, they're not scrutinizing you. They're just trying to help you.
No. To
go, hey, I saw this. How about this? Or have you tried doing this? Or however it needs to be delivered to make sure that the message is helpful for you. I don't believe anyone is out there these days to try and hurt somebody else. Not in our industry, with group exercise and our aim is to get people moving more often. Everything we're trying to do, if you're not hitting all the marks and someone's giving you some feedback, take it on board.
100%. And I even jump into other people's classes and just enjoy it to see what it's like to be just a participant. And when I'm team teaching with even other instructors or presenters, we're all about the feedback. Yeah. We're like, because it's different perspectives as well. Yeah.
I remember going through a phase where I hated to do other people's classes. I hated to do other instructors' classes because I knew it all. I'm Tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would I go to your class? I mean, I'm already doing 10 classes a week. I don't need to go to another one.
Yeah.
But once the ego left me and once I realised, hang on a second, I can actually learn something from them. Or better still, I'm going to get a different workout because I don't need to think. I just need to follow. My brain can be switched off and I can just need to parrot and mimic what they're doing up there. Fantastic. I can actually probably push myself a bit harder than having to hold back a little bit because I've got X amount of people in front of me that I'm teaching to. When that all sort of gelled and landed, it was like, wow, okay. But it's still one thing I enjoy doing was taping myself, videoing myself to be able to see what I was doing, but getting feedback from anybody.
Yeah.
100%. Hey, Jay, as you come to my class, what did you think? What did you think of track 3? Because I really struggle with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it's something that we could all do together to really, move our industry up and forward, because it has been challenging post-COVID to really build numbers, to build back our community and, getting the attendance in the quarterly workshops up again. And, because we're working really, really hard to bring something that's different from the masterclass and inspiring in real life, and hoping to be there as that person to say that connection point, to say, hey, how is things going for you? I know every time with grit, because, grits in WA we're doing pretty well, but, it's not going, there's class numbers that, aren't huge or everywhere.
Yep.
Is checking in with our people and saying, actually, how is it going for you?
Yeah.
What's going well? What streams are working? Do you have much class slots, blah, blah, blah. And just actually taking the time to sort of check in with people and giving them the opportunity to say, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
This is how I'm feeling, and then reach out and offer whatever it is that they need at the time. And, but I think for me, it's about that community of feeling like, hey, you belong.
Yeah.
We are important.
Yep.
And it's a bit tricky right now.
Yeah.
It will be okay.
Yeah.
We've just got to kind of hold tight, and I think we're stronger in numbers, and ultimately we are all a team.
Yep. Yeah.
We are all a team, and remove the ego.
Yep.
I'm just really, really lucky to have done the work and in doing the work and to be giving the upskill, and I want to share that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if anyone reaches out, or, at the workshops, my best thing is, as I said, as service engineers, is be able to connect and teach and offer.
Yep.
And share what I know, because that's how it happens. It's sharing, and just little snippets of feedback. It's like gold dust, isn't it?
Yep.
Some things that some people have said to me still stick in the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
And, it could just be one thing that flips your whole teaching.
Yeah.
This is the GROUPEX Podcast.
I think that it's one thing I want to try and get across here as well, is it's okay to fall out of love with your program. Yeah. If you've been teaching for 20 years and you fall out of love with it, it's okay.
Yeah.
Find another. There's another. God, look at the GROUPEX website. There's another 175 different programs that we've come across that I've found that are going, wow, not all of them are on the site yet, but so keep an eye out on them, people. There's more coming. But not only that, make sure you're the right fit for your gym. Yeah, there's a big one for me is you know what? Yeah, okay, you can teach, but are you the right fit for Gold's Gym Fremantle, where you're teaching? Which the old warehouse gym, I remember that from my days of Les Mills. Yeah, when I used to be Les Mills WA account manager, going in there when I first met.
Bill?
No, the girl, blonde hair.
Sam?
Oh, Sam, yes. Yeah.
Sam Ventini? Or Dunbar, she would have been when you...
Dunbar, that's it, yes. Yeah. So I met her then, walked into that gym, and I was completely blown away of the size, the stage, the room, the whole lot was just absolutely amazing. But my point with that is, not so much the reminiscing of that one, Tony, but making sure you're the right fit for the club you're working at. Yeah, it's great that, Tone, can you teach 5:30 Monday night? Yeah, I can. But Tony, have you done an audition? Have you actually been into the club and seen the members, met any of them? Have you done any of that? Because if you're just rocking up to go, yeah, cool, I can teach, but you're the wrong fit, well, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You're hurting the club. You're hurting the members. Make sure you're the right fit for where you're teaching. Then I'll almost guarantee that class attendance will be sweet. Because if they gel with you, as we know in group exercise, if group exercise attendees love what they're doing, they're going to refer more often. They're going to bring their friends, do it all. If all that's on fire, great. But sometimes realizing that you're not the right fit for that gym. Oh, but Tony, they pay me $80 a class. Well, I don't know where. But if they...
not here.
But, yeah, cool, okay, I get that. But at the same time, what are you getting out of it? Are you the right fit for your club?
I agree, Tony. And it's interesting because you probably gathered over the time, I'm over our conversation, that I'm a community person. I love the Les Mills community. I live and work in my community. I live in Hilton in WA. I work at Hilton Primary School. I teach Lucas is only 2, my youngest, but I teach my 2 boys. I'm their physical education teacher.
Yep.
So we all go to school together.
Yep.
And I work at one club, which is Warehouse, which is transformed now into Gold's.
Yep.
And I teach my 10 classes here per week at, ungodly hours at 5 in the morning, or my mum slots. But I'm the right fit for those times.
Yeah.
And I know that. And we have a strong connection in our gyms because it's longevity. We've got the community, but I also, when I teach in my 9:30 slots, I know that I know what I need to bring at 9:30 because a lot of people are uni students or mothers and they have time. So before my 9:30 class, we are lucky enough to have 30 minutes with no classes here because that's connection.
Yeah.
People are coming in and they're sitting down and they're asking about what's happening, and they're building connection. They work out, and that's what makes our club thrive, is having space and time to connect.
Yep.
You know, and in my
So
5:30
important.
a.m.
So
class,
important.
yeah, 5:30 a.m. class, it's get in. The lights get switched on at 5:15. We have a little joke.
Yep.
And we're in.
Yeah.
And then we're out and we're high-fiving on the way out,
Yeah.
you know, and then
Yeah.
straight into back-to-back spin where I know people need to get it done and be at work because I
Yeah.
have to be at school.
Yep.
And I understand the time pressure, but I know how I have dedicated. I get up at 4:12 a.m. to make this happen.
Yep.
Because this is important to me and this is important to everybody else, and I know that they have the same sacrifice as me.
By the way, I love that it's 4:12.
I know, it's weird, eh? It's like not 15,
No,
it's 12.
no, yep. It's you've almost got it down to that fine art form of, you know what, 4:12.
Yeah.
If it goes 4:13, shh, I hope there's no red
Shit.
lights. Yeah.
You know.
No,
But it is.
that's
I think
fantastic.
You've got to also go, do I need to be teaching? I mean, I'm lucky because I teach grit, different streams. I mean, this week I taught grit cardio, grit athletic, grit strength. If I was being lazy, I would have taught grit strength three times.
Yeah.
But I'm covering somebody else's slot, so I'm going to add diversity into the timetable.
Yep.
And I'm going to do the work.
Yep.
And I'm going to, add that. And I know that I teach different programs, mind, body, yoga, all that spin, so that I'm getting different clientele and I'm not hogging the timetable.
Yeah.
I'm really sharing. I'm sit on my slots, and I have for 10, 15 years because
They work.
that's, I guess, they work for me. And I've, with school, I work 2 days a week.
Yep.
And I've actually made my other classes my priority.
Yeah.
And I won't do work on those days because, that's what is a priority of my time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Hey, next question I want to throw at you. What do you hate? And I know hate's a big word. It's a nasty word, so maybe I'll use this no, I'm going to stick with hate. What do you hate about our industry?
Oh, my goodness me. What do I hate about industry?
And you know what? There can be nothing. It doesn't need to be an answer.
I'm a yoga teacher, so I think hate, ahimsa, non-violence. Hate is such a strong word that I wouldn't say hate.
Yep.
What I am scared of is basically the emphasis they're putting on age at the moment.
Yep. I
feel like I'm just coming into the team, and I've obviously got a lot of knowledge in the industry, but I feel nervous for other people that are at the same space and time of their life, and they're maybe approaching 30, 35, 40, 45, and they're feeling like, am I too old for group fitness?
Yep.
And I want to say, no fucking way.
Yep.
Nah.
Yep.
Can I swear?
Shit, yeah.
Because I don't think age defines your energy.
Yep.
And I think that we can have, behind my teaching is 20 years experience.
Yep.
And I'm lucky because I started young, but I think having life experience in any industries really can connect with our clientele. So what I'm finding, a little bit concerning is now with, are we numbered? Is our age going to number our industry career? Which, I mean, it will eventually, but I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that we just love everybody's energy regardless of age.
Are you referring to instructing, or are you referring to just being part of?
I think, I don't know. I think maybe that may be actually quite part of the team.
Yep.
Maybe that might be a team thing of the direction we've gone with our new sponsorship, and but I do feel that we need younger people
Yeah.
coming into our classes.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree with you. I think that's what you said to me is spot on. I think it's the industry needs to realize we have some experience, some education people that are in education spaces that have been doing this for a while, that have an expertise in what we're doing. If we're able to allow the expertise, wow, you can really tell I'm choosing my words here, can't you?
I would say,
if the industry allows us to, the people that have expertise in our industry to train up the younger demographics, you know what? Yes. I think that's fantastic. I think that a younger demographic coming straight through thinking that they should know it all and be all and all, you shouldn't be around, you're too bloody old, here I am. That's not going to work. I think that the education, we need to pass on our knowledge. Yeah. And I think that like with Les Mills, there will be an age, there will be a stage, not an age, there will be a stage where the team will get to a certain age demographic that probably won't gel with the younger demographic anymore. And 100%. I like the fact, as we were talking about earlier on, about that pathway into presenting. You know, if that is understood and that is shared and has got out there, I think instructors can realise, okay, well, I can do this. And if I'm come onto the team when I'm 23, 24, you know, at a young age, I probably am going to have another 10 or 15 years in being able to do this, you know, if not more. Yeah, I know there's some of the team that are well into their 50s, if not tapping on 60, which is great. Yeah, which is completely fine. And they've got that experience, they've got that knowledge, they still know what they're doing, and there's not time for them to stop. They'll know when it's time for them to stop at that end. But if the knowledge can be passed on and forwarded on to the new trainees that are coming through, I think we tick the box and we know that as an industry, we've got longevity. I think we need longevity. I think what happened there for a while is that, and as you sort of alluded to, that well, I'm on the squad, but am I ever going to get on the team until someone dies or someone, you know, decides to, that's it, they've hurt themselves, whatever. I'm never going to get there. And I think that, to me, has changed over the last, especially since COVID. I think COVID made us realise when everyone was made redundant everywhere, and coming back after that, you've got to reapply, that, well, okay, well, you know what, no, the older ones were like, well, actually, no, I don't want to reapply. You know, I'm not going to. I shouldn't have to reapply. I've been doing this forever. There's probably a bit of ego involved with it, but at the same time, I think that gave opportunity for a newer crowd to come through. But we did lose some of the greats that were there that could have passed on some of that energy to the younger ones. And I think that with everything, I think, as I said, COVID was that opportunity for us to reset and look at what we're doing and do it differently. Yeah. Correct. So I think what you touch on there, I think is really, it's important. Really is important. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I look around and I really think it's great for us to have more diversity within our programs as well, you know, so that's going to be a big thing, and making the space and place available, you know, for everyone, all age. Yeah.
I had a chat to someone the other night about the LGBTQ plus community. It's a podcast that'll be coming out soon, if it hasn't already, by the time this goes to air. But my eyes were open to that community coming into the industry and the challenges they face. But because I honestly didn't think they were ready. You know, I'm coming from Sydney, where I was when I started in the fitness industry, I think I was one of 3 or 4 straight guys that was teaching group exercise. You know, there were so many gay guys out there, or part of the LGBTQ plus community. Obviously, it wasn't called that back then, but you know, I've never seen that as though there was an issue. And it was just the conversation I had recently was, you know, there's been a lot of challenges. You know, there's more inclusivity coming through, where the community is starting to feel more and more welcome into this space, not only from teaching and presenting, but also just walking in there as a participant as well. You know, and I think that is a big change that COVID has probably brought on as well. You know, we've as I said, there's that reset button that was hit that no one realised it was being hit, you know, but it got hit for us. We had no choice in it, and it's allowed different things to come out of it. So, yeah,
definitely, which is great.
Yeah,
you know, to have a reset and to really look and rethink things.
Yeah. What do you love about our industry?
People.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you don't say people and movement, then there's got to be something wrong here. Tony hasn't interviewed you properly at all. Yeah.
I love the people. I love the relationships you create. I think that's why I work at one gym with, pretty similar clientele, because I feel like we've developed a relationship over many years, and holding space for people, whether they're having a tough time, whether they're having a great time, seeing their hard work come to fruition. I don't know, just sharing life in this amazing space of movement, and it's so physically empowering and mentally rewarding that how privileged are we to be able to do that together. Yeah. Man, it lights me up every time. It really does.
Yeah. Tim, I love the fact that walking into group exercise space, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what those people in front of you are going through. But as soon as the music starts, or as soon as you get eye contact with someone and smile, their day changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else can you do that? And you do that over the phone sitting in a corporate box all day? Hell no.
No. Yeah.
We have the power to make so many life changes for people when we don't even realize we're doing it.
I know. And how lucky are we to be able to have that gift? Yeah. And that's why I think, I've never really looked at it like a class. It's definitely an opportunity every time. It's just an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for coming on and having a chat to me.
Oh, my goodness me. Tony, thank you so much for taking me for a walk down memory lane and giving me this opportunity to share my story with others. And I hopefully, there's maybe somebody out there or someone else out there who's, done their training and inspired to move forward in their career. And I just want to let them know that, nothing happened easily for me. It took time, but it made the journey so worthwhile.
Yeah.
And so humbling to be here, because, everything is hard before it gets easy, and I'm not at the easy stage yet.
Yeah. No, yes, thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. Guys, there'll be notes in the show notes to get in contact with both Yaz and myself if you want to chat about things, anything that's been discussed in the episode. But Yaz, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, Tony. You too.